That story, the ultimate shopping experience. Black Friday is finally here. A lot of hype has been building up over the past few weeks, and today shops are choking with excited customers. To talk more on this phenomenal event, I'm joined now by Kwanda Fabaza, Ombudsman for Banking Services, and Sumay Dipanar, spokesperson for Cash Connect. Very good morning to you. Thank you so much for joining us.
Good morning.
Morning, Anderson.
It's fun and games for some and a shopping nightmare for others. But you, let me start with you, Kwanda. You've sent out a warning saying that in the midst of the hype and the excitement, there is some caution that needs to be taken because you speak about, there's also the serious risk of fraud. How so?
Correct. I think what people need to remember is that as much as they have been preparing for this day, fraudsters out there have also been preparing. I mean, Black Friday is one of the biggest shopping days of the year. And what people need to be reminded of and stay aware of is that as much as, yes, they've been saving for this day, as much as, yes, they've been preparing, there's criminal elements out there who've also been preparing, and they do want people's money. So people need to be cautious.
And Sumay, just adding to that, a word of caution, be careful. Fraudsters have been preparing just as hard as the actual consumer. What do you have to say about that?
Yes, you know what, peak trading seasons like Black Friday and festive season that is just around the corner, it does pose a risk for retailers. But I think the good news is that there are things that they can do to mitigate their risk. I mean, investing in a robust cash vault, can deter and deflect criminal activity. But it's not just to invest in the vault. When you have the vault, when you deposit cash into the vault, your cash is guaranteed in your bank account. And it's almost like, we move the bank to your store. So retailers, they don't need to leave their store to bank their cash. Once it's deposited, it is like having it in your bank account. So there are ways that retailers can mitigate or reduce their risk.
Retailers on one end and consumers on the other end, what are the preventative measures that a consumer can take? There's a lot of people around, there's a lot of hype, and swiping is not as easy as swiping.
I think what people need to remain aware of is that at the ATM, there's always a danger of your card being stolen. Now, if you're at the ATM and you're transacting, make sure you do not accept assistance from a stranger. And if you're typing in your PIN, make sure you hide your PIN. Because end of the day, there's always someone out there willing or trying to steal your PIN and trying to steal your card and use that card obviously to deplete your account. And secondly, yes, with online transactions. Now, online transactions, if you're going to be inserting your card details onto a site that is not secure, by secure, I mean it does not have a lock at the end, at the beginning of your website. If it does not have a lock, that website is not safe. And secondly, to make sure that it's safe, just make sure it has an HTTPS. There must be an S at the end. That is an indication that the website is safe. Now, if it does not have that, and you now inserting your details onto a website, and the merchant that you're buying from, it's someone you've never heard of, then you are at risk of being defrauded. Lastly, if you're at the store, inside the store, and yes, you will be punching in your PIN to make purchases, just make sure that the person behind you does not see you punching in the PIN. Because at the end of the day, what happens is as soon as you leave the shop, that same person steals your bag. Now they've seen your PIN and they're going to go and withdraw all the funds in your account. So people just need to be vigilant of that.
And what are some of the word of caution and perhaps just a warning to both consumers and retailers when it comes to today?
I've spoken about investing in a robust retail cash vault. But if you need to opt for a vault, it's to make sure that it's built to SABS Category 4 standards and that you don't opt for a tin box. So that you do your homework and that you go for something that can also increase your business efficiency. If I may, there's other risks for retailers as well, like the risk of running out of stock on Black Friday and, putting a ceiling on their income that they can have today. So it is not just to provide secure solutions, but business efficiency solutions. So, having the ability to acquire trading capital directly, within 24 hours and paying it off in daily installments directly from your cash vault. So yes, definitely.
Yes, and so just to add, I think it's also important to just warn people out there that your bank will never call you ask for your card number and ask for your OTPs. People need to remain and be aware of that. And lastly, your cell phones. A lot of people, they transact using their mobile phones. And some of these mobile phones, they do store the password, for instance, the app passwords. And they also store the card details on, for instance, if you have iTunes. Some of them, they do people insert their card details, their payment details onto their phone, and they store them. Now, if fraudsters get hold of that phone, unfortunately, you have given fraudsters access to your account, and your account will be depleted. So make sure your phone is also secured. And I'd also advise people to make sure that their cell phones do not store payment details.
Should you fall victim? Should all measures fail, all preventative measures fail? I'll start with you, just to talk about what steps to take next as a retailer.
Well, if you have got a secure solution in place, it is quite easy because your cash vault will be replaced within 24 hours and you'll be up and running in no time. However, if you do not have anything in place, it is a little bit harder. Then obviously you'll need to involve the South African Police Service, and it does pose a risk for your employees and all of that. So the best advice for any retailer is to make sure that they can trade in a safe and a secure environment and invest in a secure solution that can do all of that for you.
Should the worst happen, where to?
I think if you suspect that either your PIN or your card is lost or stolen, the first thing you need to do is firstly report it to your bank and ask for that card to be cancelled. And secondly, if you suspect that your online credit card details were inserted or you inserted credit card details onto a site that is not secure, again, we encourage people to immediately call the bank, cancel that card. And lastly, if, for instance, you misplaced your card inside a shop, after a few minutes you find it or someone comes and returns that card to you, again, do not just accept that card. Always be in your best interest to immediately call your bank and cancel that card. Rather get a new card because chances are your card details have been compromised. So yes, if again you've lodged a complaint with your bank and you're not satisfied with how they're resolving the issue, you can always report that issue to the Ombudsman for Banking Services. We will help in investigating and resolve the issue.
Absolutely. Thank you so much for your time. Of course, Gwanda Fabaza, Ombudsman for Banking Services, and Sume Deepanar, spokesperson for Cash Connector, just giving you a word of caution as you embark on your sales on Black Friday. Now, looking at